Namaste, namaste, and welcome to Saturday morning Vinyasa yoga. And we're having a lovely sort of warm, mild day, slightly overcast here. So the perfect time for getting our energy moving with a little bit of flow yoga. So join me on your mat. You can sit in any comfortable position, kneel if you prefer, just resting your hands wherever they're comfortable. And take a moment to find a little stillness in the body. Step away from the other things that you've had going on this morning or in your week. We're all very busy at this time of year, especially now that lockdown has lifted. So take this moment to give yourself some time and space to nurture your body and give your mind just that opportunity for respite from the hubbub. Feel the parts of the body that are in contact with the floor and allow them to provide a lovely, stable, firm foundation from which you can lift the body towards the ceiling without gripping or holding too strongly. And then closing your eyes or gazing gently downward. Soften the features of your face, your shoulders and chest. See if you can consciously note tension in the body and let it go, perhaps as you exhale. Notice parts of the body that perhaps need a little extra TLC. Feel a little stiff or overworked this week. And take note to be kind to them throughout the practice. Then notice the breath that you're breathing right now. Notice where your breath is moving in your body. What part of the body moves first as you breathe in and last as you breathe out. And then deepening your breath as you exhale, draw your navel gently in to exhale fully, breathing into the sides of the body, the back, the chest. Breathing out long, slow, and completely using that gentle engagement across the navel. Breathing into the rib cage, the collarbones, the shoulder blades. Breathing out slowly, deeply, and completely. Keep breathing in this way, allowing your breath to slowly ebb out of the body. Breathing into all of the spaces that you can find to expand the breath into. At the end of your next exhalation, just gently drawing your chin towards your chest, feeling initially that sensation of length down the back of the neck, across the shoulders, between the shoulder blades. And without forcing your chin down, just allowing it to fall wherever gravity takes it. Then rolling your right ear to your right shoulder, chin back to your chest, and left ear to left shoulder, chin to chest. Going a little bit to each side, feeling the connections between the head, the neck, the chest, the back, and shoulders. As you roll your left ear to your left shoulder, how far down the right side of the body can you feel that connection to the movement? And vice versa on the left. If you want to, you can make take the head in circles. And going in the opposite direction as well. Next time you have your chin on your chest, just gently bringing your head back to center, opening your eyes if they've been closed, freeing the arms from the thighs, and then rolling the shoulders a little. And going the opposite way as well. And today we're going to take the fingertips to the shoulders to make circles with our elbows. So just circling both arms at the same time, perhaps beginning quite small, just negotiating with the body, finding where the body's free and open to move today. And then when you're ready, you can expand those movements, bringing the elbows together in front and the shoulder blades towards each other behind the body as well. Let's do one more in this direction. And then the opposite way as well. And as you move your shoulders, allow your head to move as well if it needs to, if it wants to. Try to avoid holding rigid in the neck. Let's do two more in this direction. And when you're ready, allowing the arms to float down to the side. We're going to interlace the fingers, press the hands away from us and lift the arms up over the head. If that feels a bit tight on the fingers, you can hold wrist to wrist instead. And then we're going to make circles with the whole body. So we're circling from the sit bones. You might find that you wibble wobble around on your bottom. And we'll go the opposite way as well. A little firmness in the belly here, little openness for the sides of the body underneath the arms. Very good. And then in the center, we'll release the fingers and let the arms float down to the sides. We're going to take the hands onto the thighs and make bigger circles with the torso using the arms for support. And here you can draw one shoulder and then the other shoulder forward, so you get a little twisting through the body. Or you can focus on rounding the spine forwards and then opening the chest backwards, or a combination of both. Don't forget your head is part of this movement. So wherever you look, the neck moves, the shoulders move. We'll do one more in this direction. And then we're going to go the opposite way as well. Just wakening up the whole of the torso, the connections into our hips, shoulders, the back, front and sides of the body. Let's do one more in this direction. And then when you're ready, coming back to center, just taking a moment to rest the hands and observe the effect of your posture work. So if there are any more bits of the upper body that feel like they need a little wriggle, now is the time to give them a little wriggle. And then you can extend your legs out in front of you, keep the knees nice and soft, the feet apart, and roll through the ankles, rolling the knees together and apart. And you can do this either sitting quite upright and quite still in the upper body, or if you feel inclined, you can allow your upper body to move with your lower body. You can put your arms into it for a full octopus if you'd like to. And we'll go the opposite way as well. It just feels quite funny. This is one of those ones that everybody does a little bit differently. There's no right or wrong way to do it. When you're ready, you can gather yourself up, just crossing the opposite leg in front. And we'll do a little bit of purposeful work for the sides of the body. So we're going to reach the arms wide and gently wibble wobble from one side to the other. So leaning over, allowing the hip that you're leaning away from to come off the floor if it wants to. You don't need to be rigid there either. A little softness in the underneath arm and shoulder. And just exploring that length down the sides of the body. A touch of firmness and control across the abdominal muscles. Next time you go to the right, allow your left arm to reach up towards the ceiling. And we're just gently going to roll the left shoulder backwards to open the chest, and then roll the left shoulder forwards to round through the upper back. Rolling backwards and forwards to wriggle out any more tension here, any more holding, to begin to lubricate and loosen those structures for our spiraling twists today. And then coming back to that center in the side bend, reach your left arm up and make big wrist circles with long fingers. And going the opposite way as well. We're just beginning to warm up the wrists. And then thumbs into the palms, all the fingers around, and rolling again through the wrist one way, and then reversing to roll the opposite way as well. And then from here, we're going to reach the top arm forward across the right leg and into the center. And in the center, leaning slightly forward and doing a little shimmer of the torso from side to side, just to feel as if you can perhaps give a similar sense of lubricating, of finding space in the low body, the low back. Pad the hands back towards you. We'll take one cleansing breath, breathing in, reach the arms out and up, looking up. And as you breathe out, draw the palms down to the center of the chest. Lovely job. We're going to reach the left arm to the left, reach the right arm over. And in our side bend here, soft in the bottom shoulder, rolling the right shoulder backwards and forwards. And just finding that sense of wriggle, almost that pandiculation like we see animals do as they stretch, where it's never still, it's always a little ripple and a wriggle. And then coming to the center of that side bend, reaching the right arm up and making big wrist circles, lots of long wiggly fingers here, at least 3 or 4 fingers and a thumb maybe, and the opposite way as well, unless you're my father-in-law, he's just got 2 fingers and a thumb on this hand. And then we're going to wrap the thumb into the palm, all the other fingers around, and circle the wrist again. Just feeling the difference there, and in both directions, reversing that motion. Then coming to the center again. Oh, sorry, we're going to reach the right arm forward and fold down over the front of the legs. Do a little wiggle from side to side, a shimmer of the chest, and then pad the hands back towards us to sit up. And this time we'll take the arms behind us. So reaching the arms wide, interlace the hands behind the body, roll the shoulder blades towards each other, draw the elbows towards each other. Keep the elbows a little soft because you get a much better sense of length here. And then if you want to, you can draw your hands down as you look up, opening the front of the body, that space underneath the rib cage as well. And then gently returning to center, relaxing the hands away from each other. And we're going to turn and lie down onto our mats here. So hugging the knees into the chest, rolling down onto your back and taking the feet to the floor one at a time, arms wide from the body. And just take a moment to bring the body to stillness here and feel the effect of all of that opening, limbering. So for those of you who are doing a lot in the garden at this time of year, or you have jobs where you sit at desks, hopefully all of that wriggling has eased some of the tension in the back of the body. And then from here, keeping the feet nice and wide apart, just allowing a little conscious effort over the abdominal muscles and swaying the knees from one side to the other. So we're just going a little bit side to side. We're beginning to waken up or awaken the movements that we need in the hips for today's class. So you might find that your knees come a little bit closer to the floor on either side as you work in this movement. There's no end goal here, but if you feel comfortable, the next time your knees come down on your right side, just allowing them to rest there. If not, you can keep going dynamically. If that feels good, reach the arm past the ear and just take a conscious breath in and sigh out. Lovely. Relax the left arm to center and then firming the belly muscles, bring the knees up and allow them to go all the way over to the other side or keep moving dynamically. Reach the right arm past the right ear and then just let everything settle for a conscious breath in and a sigh out. Relaxing your right arm down to your right side, firming the belly to bring the knees back to the center. And we're going to bring the knees into the chest and do a little bit of rocking around on the low back. So making the knees go in circles in one direction and in the other. If you want an additional challenge, you can do this without the hands on the knees. Encourage the muscles of the core and the deeper muscles of the torso to work. And then when you're ready, you can float the feet down to the floor one at a time, still keeping the feet apart. We're going to turn the palms towards the floor today and press the backs of the arms down, lift the chest a little, firm the belly, and then gently roll the hips up, engaging through the buttocks and the heels into the floor, and roll the hips down. So a little rolling up and down, firming the hands and the backs of the arms into the floor, maybe just a gentle downward pressure with the back of the head as well. A few more up and down. Let's do 2 more after this one, just to feel that openness across the front of the pelvis, that engagement in the posterior chain, the back of the body, the muscles that support movement there. And as you rest down this time, you can bring your knees over your hips or closer towards you if you like, and then bring the knees towards each other as well. So we've been working with the knees apart, and now we're bringing the knees together, arms wide away from the body, and really firm in the belly now, just swaying the knees from side to side. Little sway from side to side, great control through your oblique muscles down the sides of the body, as well as across the abdomen and the low back, and letting the shoulders relax as much as feels comfortable. We're not trying to get all the way over just yet, but you can begin to increase the range of movement. And the next time the knees come down to the right, allow them to go all the way to the floor if you can. And then from here, we're going to extend the left leg towards the right hand. And then as we gather the left leg again towards the right leg by bending the knee, we'll gather the knees up to the center and then go to the opposite side. So use that leg extension of the top leg and then bending again to create momentum to help the movement as you go from side to side like a pendulum. Very good. Using the arms for a bit of support and being sure to use your core muscles and anything that you can feel that helps to engage. So the sides of the body, the back of the body, perhaps the shoulders a little bit. The next time you take your knees to the right, extend your left leg towards the long end of your mat and roll to the right to sit up into Janu Shirshasana. Excellent. Now this is it's not a complicated transition, but it's one that requires a little bit of practice. So let's practice. So we're going to go back by sliding the right hand along the floor, gathering the left knee in, rolling the knees over to the opposite side, extending through the right leg to come up to Janu Shirshasana. And we're going to go from side to side a couple more times. So sliding the arm down, rolling over to the opposite side and coming up. Sliding the right arm down, gathering the left leg in, rolling to the opposite side and sitting up. So we're using that momentum, sliding the left arm down, gathering the right arm leg in, rolling to the opposite side and coming up. And we'll do one more so that we come back to finish in Janu Shirshasana on the right side. Aces. So that was really 2 more, but don't quote me. It's all good. I'm not good with numbers or lefts and rights. So when you come up to Janu Shirshasana this time, we're going to add a little bit of movement. So we're going to soften the left knee and take cactus arms. And then here, we're going to draw the right elbow towards the left knee by first twisting and then folding. And then we'll come out, take the right hand behind us and draw the left arm up and over as we lift the hips into a baby wild thing and then release down again. Same thing again, bending the left knee, cactus arms, firm in the belly, twist and fold, that spiral sensation. Coming back to the center, take the right hand down behind you, baby wild thing. One more like this, soften the left knee, twist and fold. Coming back to the center, right hand down behind, lift up and open, baby wild thing. And then when you come back to your Jani Shirshasana, sliding the right arm down, gathering the left knee in, rolling to the opposite side. And apologies because I've got my back to you now, but we'll do the same thing on this side. So sitting tall, cactus arms, softness in the right knee, twist and fold the left elbow towards the right knee. As you untwist, take the left hand behind you, lift the hips and lift the right arm over and back to center. Cactus arms, soft right knee, twist and fold to the right, untwist, left hand behind you, reaching the hips up and the left arm up and right arm up and over. So taking cactus arms, soft right knee, twist and fold, untwisting, left hand behind, reaching up and over. And then coming back to Jani Shirshasana, and here we're going to slide the left arm down and roll onto our backs and finish there with the knees into the chest for a little bit of circling or swaying, whatever makes you happy. And then when you're ready, you can bring your chin towards your chest and rock backwards and forwards through the length of the spine until you find a comfortable spot to balance on the sit bones and roll back again. Balancing as you come up, rolling back down. See if you can throw a different shape every time you come to balance on your sit bones. And then this time, simply coming up to sitting. Take a moment as you come to sitting, allow the body to come to stillness, find all of those lovely benefits of the yoga, of the practice. And then from here, we're going to reach our hands forward and come into hands and knees. So for our first foray into hands and knees, we're going to just have the hands maybe a little bit wider than the body, knees, wherever feels good for you. You can tuck the toes or not as you like. And here in this position, we're going to go back to circling the head. So see if you can find a comfortable sort of circling feeling in the neck. You'll notice that you really have to engage your tummy muscles to do it, and the opposite way as well. I find this really hard to do with only my head. So when you're ready, you can circle the whole body. So you're wriggling through the whole spine. As the head moves, perhaps the hips also move. And so the whole spine is engaged, the sides of the body, the chest, the back and the front, going the opposite direction as well. And this is a little bit like a combination of cat, cow, and side cat, cow, or side catty. Lovely job. And then coming back to center, we're going to walk the hands back towards our knees so that we can sit on our heels and just allow our wrists to feel what they feel. So that was our first hands on the floor, apart from our baby wild thing. So how are the wrists feeling today? Perhaps giving them a little bit of a rub with your hands to give them some warmth and some nurturing, some love, doing both sides, of course. And warmth can be really useful for allowing the body to feel comfortable where it is. And then we'll bring the backs of the hands towards each other to roll through the wrists. Further preparation, lubricating our joints, preparing them for the practice ahead, and going the opposite way as well. And with most people are a little stiff on this inner wrist side. So we're going to reach the right hand forward, palm up, and then use the left hand to draw the right fingers back towards the body. And you'll know if you're doing too much, if you've taken your body to a too intense a place, because your shoulders will come up to your ears. So soften the shoulders down, try not to hold at too intense of a place, and ease that openness through the inner wrist. We can keep a little softness in the right elbow as well. Just a couple of deep breaths here. And then when you're ready, you can keep the palms together, but bring the right hand back to a more neutral position. Bring the palms together at the center of the chest. Just take a moment, wriggle anything that needs wriggling, and then reach the left arm forward and use the right fingers to draw, the right hand to draw the left fingers back. Again, you'll know too much, you've done too much if you've lifted your shoulders. Try to soften that effort down. Soften in your elbow, or straighten through your elbow if it feels better to do that. Whatever feels like it's going to be most useful for you. Taking a couple of deep breaths here. Creating a bit of length, opportunity for space on the inside of the wrist. And when you're ready, keeping the fingers together, just bringing your hands back to a more neutral hold at the center of the chest. And then shaking out the wrists. And we're prepared for our practice, our hands and knees part of the practice. So taking the hands again, hands and knees, coming onto your knees, and we're going to keep the knees about hip width apart. Toes can be tucked under or not. In fact, not at the moment. Let's start without the toes tucked under. So toes tucked flat. As you inhale, firm the belly, and as you exhale, lift your pelvic floor, and then keep those engaged. As you inhale, look forward. Imagine you're drawing the heels of your hands and elbows backwards to open your chest. And as you exhale, round through the spine, further scoop the belly in, chin to chest, maybe hips slightly forward. Inhaling, still engaging through the pelvic floor and the belly muscles as you look forward. Exhaling, press the mat away from you to round through the spine. Inhale, imagine you're dragging the hands back towards your knees. And exhale, press through the mat to round through your spine. This time, you're going to inhale in the usual fashion, but as you exhale, just float your knees off the floor, just a touch. Inhaling forward to open the chest, and exhale, rounding and floating the knees off the floor. Inhaling forward, exhaling, rounding and floating the knees off the floor, and then back to hands and knees. And here we're going to lift the opposite knee and hand away from the mat to give a little sense of buoyancy and pliability. With our hands under the shoulders or slightly in front, we want the heel of the hand and the fingertips to take most of the weight. And we want there to be a sense of pliability in the center of the hand, so that if we put weight onto it, it can flatten, but if we take weight away from it, it can come away from the floor a little. And then we're going to take the toes towards each other, knees apart, and settle the hips towards the heels, reach the hands forward, turning the palms open, and take your forehead to the floor, or to some kind of support if you prefer. A couple of deep breaths here, trying to soften any effort over the shoulders. Soften the effort in the belly and also the pelvic floor, so that we can let go of the engagement when we need to or when we can, to fully relax. Try to take a breath in and a sigh out. And then when you're ready, you can come back to your hands and knees. And now you can tuck your toes under if you'd like to. And we're going to start with the right hand. So with the right hand, we're going to reach the right hand back towards the heels, hips towards the heels, and then reach up and over. So we're circling this right arm. We're going to do 3 circles in this direction. Let your head move as well. And then 3 circles in the opposite direction. I'm just trying to use any support you can from underneath the body. And then coming back to the center, we're going to extend the right leg behind us and just press through the heel a few times. And see, as you do that, as you press into the heel and take the weight back, it's a little bit easier on the wrists, on the hands as well. And then from here, sweep the right foot behind the body to the left, and then sweep it out to the right side towards the right hand. So we're going side to side. We'll do one more to the front, and then we'll take the foot all the way behind us. And again, tuck the toe under, press into that heel. If you want to, you can move your right hand to the left a little to further open that side of the body. And we're just pulsing in and out of this. And then when you're ready, you can slide the right knee in behind the left knee. Move your hands so that they line up in front of your left knee, diagonally on your mat. And then you can settle your hips towards your heels. They don't have to go all of the way towards your heels. You can do a little wriggle of the hips from side to side, maybe a sway of the shoulders from side to side. Just do something that feels good, that feels like it's getting somewhere. Smashing stuff. And then very gently bringing yourself back to your hands and knees. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to first start from our hands and knees, a little firmness in the belly, reach the hips back to the heels, the left hand back and up and open. For 2 more arm circles in this direction. And then going 3 times in the opposite direction. And allow your head to move as it needs to. Allow your spine to move as it needs to. And then coming back to center, hands and knees, extending the left leg back and just pressing through the heel of the left foot. Lots of cracking happened in my body then. Just a few pulses to feel the lightness in the wrists as you take the weight of the body backwards. And then sweeping your left foot to the right side of the body and sweeping it around to the left side. Little firmness in the belly here, looking from side to side. We'll do 1 more and then finish with the left foot behind the body, again extending into the left heel. You can even move the left hand a little bit towards the right side to further increase your stretch if you want to, or sense of length. And then when you're ready, you can slide the left knee in behind the right knee. Move the hands so that they're lined up in front of the right knee, a little bit diagonally on the mat. You can settle your hips towards your heels a little bit and just wiggle a little from side to side. We're just trying to access the parts that other postures don't reach, the outer hips. And there's no need to get your hips particularly low, just do what feels good for your knees. And then when you're ready, you can bring your hands back to center, uncross your legs so you're back to a more centered pose. And we're going to take child's pose with a little twist. So knees apart, toes together, settle your hips back to your heels and slide your left arm, back of the left hand, sorry, between the right hand and the right knee. Reach the right arm a little further forward if it's helpful. And just take a little deep breath here. Deep breath or 2 here. We're not pressing the arms down necessarily unless that feels useful to you. So some people like to press the bottom arm down into the mat. But do what feels good for a little 1 more deep breath. And then using the right hand for a bit of support, pressing down, bringing yourself back to center, reaching the left hand forward, and then taking the back of the right hand and sliding that between the left hand and the left knee. Right side of the head towards the floor. Reach the left fingers a little bit further forward if you want to. You don't have to. And then taking some deep breaths here, just feeling that opening across the back of the body. See if you can soften your face as you work. And using the left hand for a bit of support, pressing into the left hand, coming back to the center, we're going to walk our hands back towards the knees so that we're sitting back onto the heels again for a little bit of light relief for the wrists. So you can roll your wrists if you like. You can bring the hands together, interlace the fingers and make figure of eights. I quite like that one. Doing whatever feels best to you, just making sure you go in both directions. And then everybody clasping their hands, turning the palms outwards, raising the arms over the head, settling the shoulders down, lifting in the belly muscles, and then just imagine you're circling the palms onto the ceiling to make wiggles through the upper body. And see if you can keep it a little bit confined towards the upper body or contained there. And opposite way as well. And then in the center, separating the hands and letting them drift down to the sides. Rolling the shoulders a little bit backwards and forwards if that's helpful. I sometimes here like to interlace my fingers behind my body, roll the shoulder blades towards each other and just let the hands come down and the chest come up and open, lifting in the front of the throat as well, and gently releasing. So just a little wriggle to get everything back to where it's supposed to be. And we'll come back onto our hands and knees now. So reaching the hands forward. And this time we're going to use our right leg behind us. So we're going to bring the knees towards each other and stretch the right leg back. The heel is, the toes tucked under, firm in the belly and the pelvic floor. Inhale as you lift the right leg up, looking forward, and exhale, draw right knee to left elbow. Inhaling, lifting the leg, looking forward and up. Exhaling, right knee to left elbow. And feel free to twist, really using the movement of your body. And we'll just do one more, so we'll do 4 of these. Then lifting the right leg up behind you, swing it around to the right side of the body, and just placing it down so it's lined up pretty much with the left knee. And we're going to draw the left hand towards the center so it's more underneath our heads. And again, make big circles with the right arm. So we're doing 3 of these in each direction. And it doesn't matter what your circles look like. Try to feel a little stability from the body underneath you and lift away from the floor. It makes us lighter on our wrists as well. When you've done 3 in each direction, reaching the right arm up, turning the back of the hand to the back of the body and sliding the back of the hand over the low back towards the left thigh, and then holding onto something, your clothing or your thigh or your hip, and roll the right shoulder open. Maybe look up at the ceiling, maybe look sideways or down, whatever's good for your neck. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then we're gently going to take the head to a more neutral position, unwind our spines, and then slide the right foot on the floor all the way to the left, and then bounce that leg all the way forward to the right hand. So we're using that momentum just like we did in our twisting at the beginning of class, and a little bit of swaying of the hips forwards and backwards here. Just again, creating a bit of lubrication in the hip joints. The next time you're forward, you can turn your right toes out to the right if that feels good, or roll onto the outside of your right foot. You can take your left hand a bit wider to the left and then turn your body to the right and use your right hand to create perhaps a little bit of openness here in the right groin. If it feels good, you can also circle the arm once in each direction. And then we're going to bring our hips back to a more neutral position and walk the right foot into the center. And from here, imagine you're pressing the 2 feet away from each other. Whoop, and reaching the arms up into an upright lunge. So we're going to take our arms back and down and then reach forward again, hips coming forward, reaching forward. So you come into a deeper lunge and then press through the legs to bring you upright and take the arms back and down. Let's do one more like that. Reaching forward, hips are forward, looking forward, pressing through the legs, upright, arms back and down. That requires a little bit of balance. So that's our balance for today. Aces. And then we're going to reach all the way up, catch the left wrist with the right hand and draw the left arm up and over to the right side. And then come back to center. We'll do one more like that, lifting up and over to the right side. Coming back to center, take cactus arms and then gently twist towards the right. Very good. And come back to center. Let's do one more like that as well. Gently twisting towards the right. And back to center. So here we're going to put those motions all together. Okay? So for this we're staying in our lunge. First, reaching the arms forward and up, lifting through the body as we reach the arms back and down. We'll do one more or one half more, reaching forward and up. And when the arms are up, we're going to take hold of the left wrist with the right hand and bend to the right. And then come back to center, take cactus arms and twist to the right. Very good. And then here, we're going to place the hands down on the inside of the right foot, lengthen both legs and twist to the long side of the mat. And I apologize for having my back to you on this side. So we're going to take a bend in the left knee, lengthening through the right leg, take the right hand towards the left foot and twist to the left. So we're doing a surface squat with a twist here, and we can pulse a little bit up and down on that knee if you'd like to. Very good. And then gently coming back to the center, coming back to the center, yes. Then turning both feet to the left, so you end up facing the back of your mat. You've got your hands either side of your left foot. You're going to step your left foot back to your right foot, so you come into downward facing dog for a little paddle in the down dog. Maybe a sway of the head from side to side, or the shoulders, or the hips, whatever feels good to you. And then in your own time, taking your knees down and resting into child's pose with the forehead on the floor. And you can either leave the arms up over the head or soften the shoulders and reach the hands back towards the ankles for a couple of deep breaths here. Softening the effort in the hands, the wrists, the chest and shoulders, the face and the abdomen. Very good. So when you're ready, you can come back to upright and we'll do the whole thing on the other side. So coming to hands and knees. Knees are together, toes tucked under. Just setting up your firm foundation and lifting in the belly muscles as well. We're going to inhale the left leg up behind us, lifting the left heel, and then exhale the knee to the opposite elbow underneath the body. Inhaling, looking up and lifting. Exhaling, left knee to right elbow. Inhaling up, we'll do 4 of these. Exhaling, rotating through the spine. Inhaling. And exhaling. Then inhaling, lift the leg behind you. And exhale as you swing it around to the left side of the body, placing your foot down. Bring your right hand closer to the center of the mat so it's underneath your head. Firm the belly, lift away from it, and make big circles with your left arm. We'll do 3 in each direction. And here, sorry, I've got my left foot too far forward there. Here we're just trying to create a little bit of stability and space underneath the body. So we're lifting away from the mat, using the support that we've got there. After you've done 3 in each direction, reaching the left arm up, pressing through the right hand to rotate the chest, and then take the back of the left hand and slide it across the back of the body to reach for the right hip or some part of your clothing, and roll the left shoulder upwards, feeling that rotation, that spiral that's happening across the body. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Then taking your head to a neutral position, reaching the left arm up, and then coming back with your hands underneath your body, taking the hands to either side of the mat, and then swinging your left leg around behind you to your right, looking to your right, and then bouncing that leg all the way forward to your left hand. And here, rocking the hips backwards and forwards. So just beginning to flirt with the hamstrings a little bit. You can come up onto your fingertips or onto fists if it's good to give your your wrist some relief here. And then when you come forward this time, maybe turning out the left foot or rolling onto the edge, outside edge of the left foot, taking your right hand to the right to give you some space to bring the hips forward and use your left hand to open your knee further. Now, you do what feels right to you here, so you don't have to make any particular shape. You're just trying to find that sense of spiral from the hips through the torso, and we're going to use the left arm to make a big circle once time in each direction. Very good, super stuff. And then scissoring, taking your hips to a more neutral spot, scissoring your left foot into the center. We're pressing the feet away from each other to lift the arms up into our upright lunge. And here we're going to let the arms carry on back down behind us to open the chest. And then hips come forward, hands come forward as we reach the arms forward. Press through the legs to come back upright, and then release the arms back behind us. Let's do one more of those, reaching forward and up. Reaching the arms back behind us, really firm in the legs, but also in the belly muscles as well. Then reaching the arms over the head, catch hold of the right wrist with the left hand, reach up and then over to the left. Gentle side bend, back to center. One more time, reaching up and over to the left and back to center. Draw the arms out to the side, cactus arms, and rotate to the left. And return to center. Again, firm in the belly and the buttocks. Rotate to the left and back to the center. Now we're going to put those movements all together. So we'll begin by reaching the arms and the hips forward and up, looking up, taking the arms back and down, and then one more half, reach up, catch hold of the right wrist and leaning over to the left. Coming back to the center, cactus arms, and rotate to the left. And then from here, take the hands down to the inside of the left leg, lengthen through both feet and pivot on your toes. And this time, I'm just going to turn myself around so that I'm facing the right way. So we're pivoting on our toes, and then we're taking, let's see. We're taking the hands to the right to extend through the left leg, leave the left hand towards the right foot, and bending the right knee, reach the right arm up to the ceiling for a little pulse here in your surfer squat. So twisted surfer squat. Very good. And then we're going to take the right hand down, come more to a neutral space, turn both feet to the right, reach the hands to frame the right foot, and then step back to downward facing dog. And here in downward facing dog, taking a moment to really allow the body some time to soften and release any tension. Maybe take the feet wide apart, drop your heels to the left, and bend and straighten the knees a couple of times. And then heels to the right, same thing, bend and straighten the knees a couple of times. Coming back to the center, we're gently going to paddle or shimmer the head from side to side, or whatever feels good. And then take a chart. In fact, we're going to come all the way down onto our bellies. So come down to hands and knees and then all the way down to your belly. Make a pillow out of your hands. Rest your head on the back of your hands, toes towards each other, heels apart, and gently sway the hips from side to side. So bringing your body to stillness, take a moment here to feel the effect of your work. Notice any parts of the body that perhaps feel a little bit overcooked, or feel where you've created space or strength or warmth. And then we're going to draw the thighs towards each other, the hands wide away from the body. Tent the fingertips, so you're making cupcake hands. We're rolling the shoulder blades down and the elbows close to the body. Not really close, but closer. Press the pubic bone down, forehead is on the floor, keep the feet on the floor, and then firm the belly, firm that space between the shoulder blades. Lift your chest up and gently roll down. So wide-armed, cupcake hands, cobra. Inhaling up and exhaling down. We'll do one more like that. Very good for strengthening the wrists and the hands. And exhaling down. Then we're going to take the hands flat to the floor. Inhale up. And here, just gently looking from side to side. So just as we wriggled our upper bodies kneeling earlier with the arms over the head, we're doing the same thing here with soft elbows, shoulders down, chest open, wriggling from side to side, and then releasing all the way down. Pillow out of the hands, toes towards each other, heels apart, rocking the hips from side to side if you need to, or you can simply rest in stillness for a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then we're going to bring ourselves back to hands and knees. You can go through child's pose if you want to release your back the opposite way. Reach your hands forward, tuck your toes, and come up into downward facing dog. So in this downward dog variation, we're going to have the feet together, and we're going to do our three-legged dog and knee to opposite elbow from three-legged dog. So reaching the right heel up towards the ceiling, and we're just going to touch the toe back down to the floor. So inhaling, right heel up, exhaling, right toes down, firm in the belly and the buttocks, inhaling up and exhaling down. This time we're going to inhale up and then exhale the right knee to the left elbow. Twist through the body, feel free to move on your shoulders. Inhaling, right heel up, exhaling, knee to opposite elbow. Inhaling up, exhaling, knee to left elbow, and this time we're stepping the foot forward between the hands, inhaling up, right foot forward between the hands. And here we're going to bend the left knee a little, but not to the floor. Reach the hands forward and come up into a standing lunge. There we are. And we can just pulse both legs straight, both knees bent with the arms up, both legs straight, both knees bent. One more, both legs straight, both knees bent. And then we're going to take the hands down to the inside of the right foot, pivot on the toes so we come to the long end of the mat, and then bending both knees, leave the right hand down, lengthen both legs and reach the left arm up to the ceiling. Come back down, bending both knees, and then lengthening both legs, lift the right arm up. So we're doing twisted pyramid pose, bending and stretching to each side. Very good. We'll do one more to each side, one more to the left, like this, bending both knees, one more to the right, and then we'll come down, bending both knees, lifting up to the left, and see if you can float your right hand off the floor at the same time. So lengthening the legs, but softening the knees if you need to, drawing the left shoulder backwards, lengthening through the crown of the head, and then gently releasing the left hand down, turning to the left, pivoting on the toes. Your hands will frame your left foot and stepping your left foot back to your right foot into downward facing dog. We'll do the whole thing on the other side. So paddle through the dog a little bit first, and then feet together, extending through your left heel. Inhale your left heel up, exhale, left toes down, firm in the belly. Inhaling left heel up, exhaling left toes down. Inhaling left heel up, exhaling left toes down, and now diagonally under the body. Inhale the left heel up, exhale left knee to right elbow. Inhaling left heel up, exhale left knee to right elbow. Inhaling up, exhaling under the body. Inhaling up. We'll just do one more because I've lost count. Exhale under the body. This time we're going to step the left foot forward. So inhaling left heel up, exhale left foot forward, and then just softening your back knee, press the both feet away from each other, reach the arms up so you're in a standing lunge, but the right knee is off the floor. And we're going to lengthen through both legs, bend both knees but not touch the floor. Lengthen through both legs, bend both knees. Inhaling, exhaling. One more. Inhaling and exhaling. Brilliant. Take the hands down inside the left foot. Pivot on the feet so you face the long side of your mat. Bend both knees, hands in the middle. Leave the left hand down and lengthen both legs. Reach the right arm up. So we're back to our bouncing pyramids. Bend both knees. Twist to the opposite side. Bend both knees. Twist to the right. Bend both knees. Twist to the left. One more to each side, like this. Bend both knees, twist to the left. And then this time, bending both knees, reaching the right arm up, and see if you can float the left fingers even away from the floor. Roll the right shoulder back, lengthen through the legs, lengthen through the torso, the crown of the head, and then very gently releasing out of this posture. So we're going to walk our hands to the right to frame the right foot, step the right foot back to the left foot, and here we're going to take a waving vinyasa. So first, a little paddle through your dog, and then when you're ready, dropping your hips back to your heels, press off your toes, round through your spine, open your chest, drag the heels of the hands backwards to open the chest a little bit further, soften the elbows and knees. And then when you're ready, you can bend the knees and take the hips back to the heels and uncurl into downward facing dog. One or two more like that. Rolling through the spine, opening your chest. And then if you want to, you can come back via plank to downward facing dog, a little bit tougher on the wrists. And if you've got another one in you, rolling forward, and this time a little shimmer of the upper body from side to side before coming back to center in your down dog. Let go of anything that needs to be let go of. And in your own time, bring your knees down to the mat and take them apart or together. Settle your forehead to the floor. Child's pose with the arms down by the sides or over the head if you prefer. For a couple of long, deep breaths. See if you can let go of any tension by sighing out through your mouth or softening through your face and your tongue. Sometimes swallowing deeply helps. And whenever you're ready, you can come back into an upright position. It can be kneeling or sitting as you choose, adjusting clothing as needed, and perhaps rolling through the wrists. So just rolling, particularly this action where you've got both of the backs of the hands towards each other.
is quite therapeutic after all of that strong work on our hands and knees and in down dog too. If you're rolling in one direction, be sure to stop and roll in the opposite direction as well. Excellent work. Okay, and then just shaking out the hands. We're going to take a yoga block for counter pose, but I forgot to bring one over, so I'm just going to go and grab one. Aces. Okay, so we're going to do a supported bridge pose as a counter pose with some twists as well, just to ease out any last tension in the body. And back bending is an excellent way to counter pose from spiraling or twisting like this. Forward bending also works, but forward bending can sometimes be a little bit harder on the back. The structures of the length opened and create space are twisting work. A lot of forward bending sometimes productive. So back bending, far better. Okay, so let's come onto our backs. With the feet nice and wide apart, arms relaxed away from the body. And to begin with, sorry, I'm just shifting on my mat a little bit. To begin with, we're going to fan the belly and just sway the knees from side to side. Little sway here. You can maybe feel those structures in the center of the body that have been really engaged and activated and energized today, supporting this movement. And then we're going to actually bring the knees together. So next time you come up to center, bring the knees together or towards each other. And again, doing a little gentle sway from side to side, this time taking the opposite foot off the floor as you twist. And this is quite nice for a counter pose after doing lots of work with one side and then the other, because it allows the pelvis to work as more of a unit, which is a nice way to counter pose. Very good. Next time your knees come down to your left side, you can leave them on the left. And if it's comfortable, you can reach your right arm away from you to the right and look to the right to settle your shoulders to the floor. Just taking a few deep breaths here. Now, for anyone who would like the additional challenge, you can bend your knees towards your left side and then extend your feet towards your left hand for a full Jathara Parivriti posture. So deep breath in, deep breath out. And then we'll bend the knees, bring them more to a neutral spot, firm the belly, head to center, knees to center. And in between, we're going to take the knees to the chest just to allow the spine to realign, make any rocking and rolling movements that feel good to you. Then feet to the floor, knees are together, firm in the belly, allow the knees to come down to the right side. If you feel good here, you can simply reach your left hand to the left and look to the left. That might be enough. And you can explore here for a few moments perhaps. If you feel any pinching sensations, don't do any more than this. And release out if it's really pinchy. So if you want to, you can bring your knees towards your right hand and then extend the legs, both of them out towards your right hand for a full Jathara Parivriti. That's what this posture is called. Now I've just thought maybe it isn't. No, I'm pretty sure it is. Anyway, I'll have to look that up. It's been a while since I've thought of the Sanskrit name. Taking a deep breath in, deep breath out, and then bringing your head back to neutral, bending the knees, bringing the knees back to a neutral space as well, and then firming the belly, drawing them back to your center. bending the knees into the chest, hugging them towards you with the knees apart and just rolling the knees together and apart. So you can do this either one knee at a time or both at the same time. I prefer to do one side and then the other. It's, I call it rock and roll. And then the opposite way. It's probably because I had a Guns N' Roses fixation when I was a young girl. Okay, and then with the knees in the center, just taking the knees to the floor one at a time. Very good. Okay, so we're going to use our blocks underneath our pelvises, underneath the sacrum at the back. So you can draw your feet a little bit towards you if you'd like. Make sure that your head is centered and you're gently encouraging a bit of space at the back of the neck there. And then firm in the belly to lift the hips, just sliding the block underneath your back on its lowest setting. So to begin with, on its lowest setting, reaching the arms away from the body and just taking the feet maybe slightly further away from the buttocks now that you're up. So if you're practiced in this counter pose and you've got a preferred alignment or preferred shape, then you can take your preferred shape for sure. And if you want to try here, you can slide the left foot forward and see if you can lengthen through the left leg and open that left side of the pelvis by resting that foot out to the side. If that feels good, you might want to draw your right knee into your chest, hold it with your right hand, and provide a further bit of traction across the pelvis there. Opposing forces, improving the sensation often. If that feels good, then you can try the same on the other side. So gently releasing the right knee, sliding the left foot back to center, sliding the right foot out, resting your foot out to the side, opening that space across the right side of the pelvis. And so for me, on the opposite side, this works, but on this side, it's not enough. There's not enough lift for me to feel a significant opening sensation. So drawing the left knee into the chest, if you want to try that variation. And that improves the sensation somewhat, but it's still not quite enough. And so I'm going to release my left foot down, bend my right knee in, and take myself up onto the second level of the block. So if you were really comfortable down there, then you might want to stay there. But if you want to come up, you can. And so firming the belly, lifting the hips, and taking the block, making sure that that long book spine end of the block is underneath the sacrum to support. And you can do that by touching your hip bones here in the front of the body, where the top of the hips are. If you trace a line back behind the body, that's where your block should be behind you. Okay. So here again, with the feet on the floor, just making sure that this feels comfortable first, and then sliding the left leg away. See if that feels good in terms of the openness across the pelvis. If it does, that's great. If you stayed on the lowest set of the blocking, take both legs and extend them and see if that works for you. If that feels good, you can try bending the right knee in towards you and just check that you're well balanced and supported by your block before you do that. And then you can, if you like, float your left foot off the floor by drawing the right knee in. And this sort of rocking on the sacrum, on the back of the hips, back of the pelvis, can be quite a nice thing to do after a practice that has moved the pelvis in different directions. And then gently releasing the left foot down, the right foot down, sliding the left foot back in to support with the bent knee, and doing the same to the opposite side. First feeling the difference, then extending through the right leg. And just spending a moment to feel the openness here in the front of the pelvis, making sure you feel supported. There's no point in taking yourself to another variation if it's not going to be useful. If it already feels quite intense here, then rest here, or rest in a previous variation. Drawing the left knee into the chest. If you want to, you can float the right foot off the floor. Maybe do a little balancing or swaying, as the case may be. And then whenever you're ready, you can float your right foot back down, left foot down, and slide the right knee in. Now there's a variation you can do if you've got a yoga block. So it doesn't work so well on a book, but if you've got a yoga block, you can lift the hips and turn the yoga block to be end on, so along the length of your spine rather than sideways across the back of the pelvis. So here again, we want the sacrum supported. You possibly have the block into the low back as well, but not too far up the low back. We don't want to be much higher than the top of the pelvis here. So the block will come down between the buttocks as well. And you can do the same thing, extending through the left leg, drawing the right knee in towards you. And because you're supporting just the sacrum in this position, the two sides of the pelvis, if you struggle with your sacroiliac joint, can find their best alignment. So find their way back to being more properly aligned. And again, it works to sway the left foot from side to side, balance it off the floor, or tap the heel along the floor. Those of you who come regularly to class will be familiar with this variation. And then you can gently swap the legs to do the same thing to the other side. And you might find that one side is more therapeutic than the other. That's not unusual. And so if you have one side that really enjoys it, you can spend more time on that side for sure. Tapping your heel if you'd like to, inwards and outwards. And then whenever you're ready, bringing yourself back to center with both feet down. You're going to come down to the lowest setting of the block, so lifting the hips, set the block low, release the hips down. And those of you who've been working higher up can extend both legs out to the sides. And those of you who've been resting here for a while, you've just enjoyed an extra little bit of yin yoga at the end of our practice. So closing the eyes here, softening the face, the jaw, the tongue. Taking a couple of deep breaths. We're moving towards relaxation, but if you feel that it would be useful to stay here for a little bit longer, you can. For those of you who would like to, you can make the feet point upwards, slide the legs in one at a time. Spend a moment here, just feeling this more neutral position before lifting the hips as little as you can to remove the block and let your hips come down to the floor behind you. And hopefully that feels absolutely magnificent at the end of all of our practice as well. So when you're ready, you can gather anything you need for relaxation. And I've just noticed the sun is moving around a little bit, which makes sometimes the picture a little dark. So apologies for that. You can take legs up the wall for relaxation today if you'd like to. I'm going to do that. And if you prefer, you can relax flat on your back. It doesn't matter what you choose. Remember, you don't have to have a wall for legs up the wall. You can have a chair or a sofa or a bed will work just as well. So if you're doing legs up the wall, come into a nice supported place, resting the heels of the feet on the wall or on your bed or sofa or chair, and keep the knees a little bit soft. I'm going to take a blanket today as well because it's a little bit cooler here. We've had a bit of rain. It is the west coast of Scotland after all. So wrapping yourself up in your blanket, either lying flat on the floor or with your legs supported in some way. And if you're lying flat, maybe a bolster underneath the backs of the knees would be useful. So wherever you choose to relax, bring your body to stillness. Take a deep breath in and sigh out through your mouth. Repeating 3 more times. A deep breath in, let everything go. A deep breath in, let your muscles begin to relax. Deep breath in and surrender down into your support. Allow your breath to find its natural rhythm, falling away into quietness. Take your awareness into your forehead. Feel it soften and spread. Feel the area around your eyes relaxing. Your mouth, tongue, and jaw relaxing. Allow the whole of the back of the body to feel heavy, warm, supported, and releasing down. Move your awareness to the front of your body. Become aware of space over you and around you. Feel the touch of air on your face and in the palms of the hands. Draw your awareness to your breath, gently deepening your breath. Finding a long, slow rhythm of breath. Breathing in light, harmony, energy. Breathing out tension, fatigue, and discomfort. Breathing in light, energy, harmony. Breathing out tension, fatigue, and discomfort. Allow your breath to fall in this rhythm whenever you're aware of it. Letting go and relaxing a little deeper with every exhalation. Gently begin to deepen your breath. Bring your awareness back into your hands by rubbing the thumbs over the fingertips. Wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes. Maybe rolling your wrists and your ankles just to get a little bit more movement into the arms and legs. If you're doing legs up the wall, at this point you may need to bend your knees in towards you and hug them. If you're lying flat on the floor, take a deep breath in and stretch the body in any way that feels good. You can do that if you've got your legs up the wall as well, perhaps stretching out on your mat. We're yawning. And when you're ready, you can gather your knees in, making any movements that feel good with your back. So if you've had your legs up the wall, you might want to do a little bridge pose, little rolling bridge. If you've been lying flat, you might want to bend the knees in towards you. Do a twist, do rock and roll, whatever you like. When you're ready, roll onto one side and just curl up for a moment, letting the body come round a little bit at a time. And then in your own time, coming to any comfortable seated position. Bringing the hands together and rubbing them vigorously, getting heat into the hands, movement into the arms. You want to press them together quite firmly, but keep rubbing until they feel like they're warming up. And then we're going to keep going still. So we're going even further, keeping rubbing, building that sense of heat, that friction. And when the hands feel really quite warm, placing the palms over the eyes so the hands themselves don't touch the eyes, but that warmth softens and nurtures the area around the eyes. Blinking into your palms a few times, releasing your hands down as you open your eyes. I hope you enjoyed this practice. I hope it set you up for a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Namaste.